Thanks for tuning in. This is Optibottoms coming to you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Combiner Wars Deluxe Class Trailbreaker. A repaint and retool of basically Off-Road and Ironhide. This is another one that I think actually looks pretty good. For the package, you can see you got that nice open clamshell. You got the comic book back here, which dubs as, you know, the background kind of art for the card itself. Come around here to the side, you can see that he combines to form Skyrain along with Wheeljack, Hound, Skylynx, and Smokescreen. And then you can see that as part of the Scramble CD and Combiner War gimmick, he can become an arm or a leg. In this configuration, they have him as a leg, but again, much like Wheeljack, I could care less about making this into a combiner. It's just more likely just going to be an update to that the character in my classic shelf. And you can see that he transforms in 10 steps, and it says, a veteran of many battles, Trailbreaker specializes in protecting his allies with near indestructible force fields. While incredibly valuable in combat, his shields require massive amounts of energy to maintain, forcing him to manage his reserves carefully. And as you can see, he does have a new head, and I actually love the fact that they gave him a cannon arm. That's very cool, very iconic and classic looking for him. So like I said, this is one that I was really looking forward to, mostly because Off-Road I don't really care about. You know, Ironhide isn't bad, but he kind of resembles a younger looking Ironhide. Trailbreaker here actually might make his way into my display. But for the packaging, that's about it for him. So without further ado, let's get this guy out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Trailbreaker open up and out of his packaging, and again, much like all the other figures, here we have his comic book. I didn't really flip through this all that much to see the actual story in here, but you come down here and it says that it's part of the Transformers Combiner Wars number 17, and then obviously you got the story going through here. I don't know what's happening. Bad guys are fighting good guys are fighting bad guys. There's Transformers comics that you can get on iPads and stuff. You come around here to the back inside flap, and you got the on the desk with the sketch phase, gray model phase, and of course the finished product. What's weird though is I'm looking at this and zooming in so that you can see that I have no idea what he's holding in his hand. I mean, you can see that like he's got his gun there. That's like a big giant weird claw thing. I have no idea what that is. That's kind of strange. I don't know if that's hinting towards anything else that we might get in terms of remolding for this. And then you come to the back and you have his extended bio. I absolutely love that. He also, down here says, the unhappiness of Trailbreaker has been his lone weakness. He even changed his name once to appear more confident. That's kind of an homage to the fact that for some time, Hasbro lost the rights to call him Trailbreaker. They had to call him Trail Cutter, which is just hilarious if you ask me. And then you got his group affiliation. His subgroup is the Lynx King, which is weird. I mean, he works with Skylynx and forms Skyrain, but I don't know. But for the figure, here you have them. You can put this on the back just like all the other figures that use the same mold. You got his axe weapon with this nice black paint, and you got the silver here for the edge of it. It is, I mean, in terms of this mode, he is pretty much, like I said, just a repaint. Bringing in good old Ironhide here. You can see that one thing that is actually different is he does have different hands, or specifically this one is a cannon, so it's not really a hand, I guess, but the rest of it, you can see, is exactly the same. You got the same rims. I do actually like the black on here a little bit more. I think it looks pretty cool. You know, the red's not bad, but you also have more of a kind of flat, the baby blue on there, whereas this is a little bit more of a metallic blue on there, so they changed that paint up a little bit. I like how the Autobot logo is off-centered here just a little, but I mean, in general, you're not going to see much in terms of difference. They basically look the exact same. Like I said, if you look at it from the top, you do see his new arm in this configuration, but yeah, it's not that bad. And like I said, I mean, if you want to, you can still take this. You know what? I didn't even notice that this actually is silver. That's weird. I can't wedge this out very good. That's the first time I think that they've actually had extra paint on the hand thing. So that's kind of curious that they did that. So, and whoa, that's weird. I have no idea why it looks like that. I have never noticed that before, but you can see he's got like this weird claw thing here. I don't get that at all. It's not separated. Maybe that just kind of goes along with, you know, the whole Skyrain sort of thing. But I mean, looking at, you know, Wheeljack's, I mean, you can see that he still has a thumb on there. So that's kind of interesting that they do that. Not 100% sure why that is, but maybe. Hold on. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So looking at this weird claw thing here, he can use it on there. I don't actually know how he can use it. Maybe he holds it as a weapon or something like that. But you can see that's what that actually is. Now I know what it is. Okay, that works. And so that's curious. So first time that we've gotten a different sort of, you know, configuration for this, but that's kind of neat. But other than that, I mean, nothing really different. I do like the paint on here. For a comparison to his classic version, this is it. You know, this kind of looks a little bit more like Trailbreaker. Kind of dig this a little bit more than I like this. I guess it works pretty decently for him, but he does miss several elements, such as, you know, this radar dish sort of thing on the top. He definitely doesn't have it on the new toy here. So, and you can see that he's a little bit smaller in the original configuration than he is in the newer one. So, I mean, in general, pretty cool looking. I think that he works a little bit better here as Trailbreaker than he did as Ironhide, or I guess even Off-Road. I mean, even though the Off-Road is basically a new character, so I don't know. I like it, and obviously you can have him be a leg or I don't know, or a weird looking arm. So for his leg configuration, he would just do this, rotate this around, and plug that in there. Plug that all the way in, just like so. So you do have that for his leg configuration. You can rotate it around. You can put it on the other side if you wanted to make that the front of them. It's all the, you know, personal preference. But like I said, I don't really have any interest in keeping these guys as in the Skyrain. So for me, I'm just going to use them as Trailbreaker. But the transformation is the exact same, and since we've seen it a couple times, utilizing that good old movie magic, we're going to go from Trailbreaker looking like this to looking like this. And honestly, I really do like the way that this guy looks as Trailbreaker. It just seems to work a little bit more, I think, than some of the other molds that we've got. As you can see, he at least does have this arm cannon now, which is very iconic to the character. In terms of remolds on this particular guy, all he really has is a remolded head, which does look good. Here's Ironhide, obviously. And then the forearms here are also remolded. Everything else, as far as I can really see, is the exact same. Obviously, there's a paint difference and everything, but I don't know. I mean, one thing that really stands out is you got this big black, you know, centerpiece right here. I just think that the color, because of it being on a black figure, just works much nicer, I really do feel. And then for another comparison, here he is next to that generation version. And, you know, I really did like this guy. He was a good figure. And you can see that, you know, you got some similar elements with the black and the red. But honestly, in terms of a look here, I mean, the head really didn't have that classic kind of, you know, Trailbreaker look. The new one here absolutely does. That is an absolute gorgeous looking head sculpt there. Coming in so that you can see that much nicer. I mean, it really does look very good. You got some really nice blue paint there for the eyes, and then again for the cannon, you can see what's going on here. I mean, the outer side is just the door panel. I mean, the same thing here, but it gives it a slightly different look, and I do like it. And then, yeah, you can bring this in. You got the weird looking claw thing there, and if you really wanted to, and the instructions even show it, you can plug it in there. Although that just sounded like something broke, didn't it? That wedged in there. What did that actually do? Did that split something? I don't know, but I heard a very distinct pop. I know you guys did as well, but it doesn't seem like it's damaged really anything. But you can... Why you would do this, I have no idea. That really does kind of look stupid and silly, but I do like the fact that he comes with the cannon for his arm. It's just so much nicer and far more accurate to the figure. One thing that I did find kind of funny is that if you guys remember the transformation for this guy, getting this up, his legs, they swiveled out like this and then collapsed up just like this, which is a very similar transformation element to a lot of the Combiner War figures that we've gotten. This one is different because it actually opens differently. I mean, you got the panel that opens like that. So I just thought that was funny that the old figure has a similar transformation style as all the other Combiner War figures, and this guy doesn't have that. Now, again, for the arm, it is obviously personal preference how you kind of configure this. You bring all this together, and we're going to collapse this up, I guess. Let's see, how do I, or no, that collapses down, doesn't it? Yeah, that kind of makes it a little bit ugly. It's personal preference on how you do it. You can bring this up, who cares, right? You bring that over, and then you can have this be his arm. So you got that same kind of Combiner War gimmick with it. So I mean, in general, I do really like this guy. I'm very, very happy with how he turned out, and there is no question for me that he is going to replace that other Trailbreaker in my collection, or Trail Cutter, I should say. He's going to replace him. I just think in general he's got a far nicer representation, to that character, I guess. He doesn't have the piece that hung out from behind him, but because he's got this big backpack thing kind of here, I guess it doesn't bother me nearly as much. But I do really like the guy. I think that he turned out very nicely. And if I'm able to replace, one of my characters on my classic shelf with one of these new guys, that, in my opinion, is a win. Now, Trailbreaker here, as well as the other figures in this Skyrain wave, are slowly hitting various retail locations right now. Or, as always, there's Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS, where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the Combiner War figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.